A Men's Organization Guide from Dmoz-Odp. Chapter 1. Men's Organization Websites from dmoz-odp.org/society/people/men/organizations. Men's Organizations Websites. Centro dell'Uomo.org, Man Center. Ecumenical and humanitarian non-profit organization in Italy. Cebucto.ns.ca/community support/men for change, men for change. Anti-sexist, anti-patriarchal, male positive, pro-feminist Canadian organization that promotes gender justice and equality and non-violence in human relations. NCFM.org, National Coalition of Free Men. Non-profit organization that examines the ways sex discrimination affects men. List of regional chapters and contact information. Apprentice Boys of Derry websites. apprenticeboys.co.uk, ABOD, Apprentice Boys of Derry. crutachni.org.uk/ABOD, Apprentice Boys Parade in Londonderry, detailed information on the history of the Siege of Derry and the culture of the Apprentice Boys Association. Freemasonry websites. feeds.feedburner.com/King Solomon's Lodge, King Solomon's Lodge Path to Masonic blogs, feeds from assorted Masonic blogs. Freemasonry.fm, Freemasonry.fm, news, reference sites, blogs, arts, museums, libraries, magazines, research, and education. Freemasonry.org, Freemasonry.org, eMason, the Philelithes portal. freemasons-freemasonry.com, Pieterstone's Review of Freemasonry. Magazine by Freemasons for Freemasons. KingSolomon'sLodge.org, King Solomon's Lodge, a Masonic weblog aggregator and Masonic information site. MasonicNetwork.org, Masonic Network, social networking site for Freemasons. MasonicWorld.com, MasonicWorld.com, Masonic information site. MasonMusic.org, the music of Freemasonry, Masonic influences on classical music and music in the lodge, notes, MIDI samples, and facsimile pages. MSONA.com, the Masonic Service Association of North America, includes contact information, services, publications, catalog, and programs. RecognitionCommission.org, the Commission on Information for Recognition, organized by the Conference of Grand Masters of Masons of North America. web.mit.edu/dryfu/masonry, a page about Freemasonry. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/freemasonry, Wikipedia, Freemasonry, discusses many aspects of and the history of Freemasonry. npr.org/templates/story/story.php story ID =1570170, NPR, Hidden Treasures, Sacred Relics of the Freemasons, in Boston, the birthplace of the American Freemasonry Society. Some ceremonial objects are considered so sacred, they're kept locked away. WorthyMasonsAll.org, WorthyMasonsAll.org, online diary. Find Freemasonry-related organizations. dmoz-odp.org/society/organizations/fraternal/freemasonry/related_organizations. dmoz-odp.org/society/organizations/fraternal/freemasonry. Knights of Columbus websites. dmoz-odp.org/society/religion_and/spirituality/Christianity/denominations/Catholicism/Knights_of_Columbus. dmoz-odp.org/society/religion_and/spirituality/Christianity/denominations/Catholicism/United_States. KOFC.org, Knights of Columbus, Supreme Council. International Headquarters, located in New Haven, Connecticut. MasonicInfo.com/kofc.htm, Masonic Info, the Knights of Columbus, discusses the relationship between the two organizations. newadvent.org/cathen/08670c.htm, Catholic Encyclopedia, Knights of Columbus, brief explanation and history of the organization. politicalgraveyard.com/group/knights-columbus.html, The Political Graveyard, brief biographies of deceased members who were politicians. Knights of Pythias websites. Pythias.org, Knights of Pythias, an international non-sectarian fraternal organization which engages in many benevolent activities. Angelfire.com/05/Owatonna62/index.html, Owatonna Lodge number 62, Beechwood, O, includes an events calendar, a list of officers. Angelfire.com/IA3/Lodge358, Edgewood Lodge number 358, Edgewood, IA includes lodge history and overview, activities, and contact information. kpofutah.tripod.com, Grand Lodge of Utah, includes a message from the Grand Chancellor, lodge history, activities, events calendar, FAQs, and contact information. littleneck.net/Cop North Shore Lodge number 824, Great Neck, New York, contains an overview of the lodge, lodge activities, history, and contact information. pythias-tx.org, the Grand Lodge of Texas, Knights of Pythias, includes information about the organization and a list of lodges in Texas. rjl639.tripod.com, Rochester J Lodge number 639, Rochester, New York, contains lodge history, photos, activities, newsletter, membership application, and contact information. yorktownKop859.tripod.com, Yorktown Lodge number 859, Yorktown Heights, New York, includes lodge history, activities, news, calendar of events, photo gallery, and contact information. Order Sons of Italy in America websites. osi.org, Order Sons of Italy in America. National site presents membership information, local lodges, history, contact information and programs. sonsofitalyca.org, Grand Lodge of California, membership information, local lodges, future and past events, contact details, and programs. LoggiaGlencove.org, Loggia Glen Cove, OSIA Lodge 1016, Glen Cove, New York. OSIAFL.org, Grand Lodge of Florida, membership information, local lodges, history, contact details and programs. Roundtable International websites. rtinternational.org, Roundtable International, a service club for men with chapters worldwide. Sons of Confederate Veterans websites. rootsweb.ancestry.com/TXSCVCTB, Central Texas Brigade, lists officers, local camps, and officers, photographs and information about the reburial of Gen. rootsweb.ancestry.com/TX1250. scv.org, Sons of Confederate Veterans, main site of national organization open to all male descendants of any veteran of the Confederate Armed Forces. scv96.org, SCV Camp 96. scvva.org, Virginia Division Sons of Confederate Veterans, heritage-based organization for male descendants of Confederate veterans. texas-scv.org, Sons of Confederate Veterans, Texas Division, genealogical and historical organization dedicated to preserving the history and honoring the memory of their Confederate ancestors. Sons of the American Revolution websites. georgiasocietysar.org, Georgia Society, Sons of the American Revolution, chapter data, membership information, history, and photo archive. sar.org, National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Fraternal society organized in 1889 for the male lineal descendants of patriots who served to promote the goals of freedom and independence in the American Revolution. Sons of the Revolution websites. sr1776.org, The General Society, Sons of the Revolution. National Fraternal Society based upon direct lineage to a patriot who served in a military capacity or in a position that would have been considered treason to monarchy of Great Britain in promoting the cause of American independence during the American Revolution 1776–1783. Amrav.org, Sons of the Revolution, State of Pennsylvania, instituted 1888 in Philadelphia. PA is a SOR state society for the descendants of American Revolutionary War officers, soldiers, and patriots. srcalifornia.com, Sons of the Revolution, State of California, offering extensive information on the American Revolution and colonial history including photos and listing of the colonial flags, colonial uniforms, the Stars and Stripes, Revolutionary War battle chronologies and statistics. Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War websites. suvcw.org, Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. Created in 1881 by the Grand Army of the Republic, the Congressionally Chartered Society preserves the memory of the American Civil War Union soldiers. suvcw.org/co/department-cowie.html, Department of Colorado and Wyoming, SovCo. Chartered in 1929, the department covers the states of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming. suvcw.org/page_ID=1120, Department of Indiana, SovCo, provides a list of officers and contact information, camp information, department, and Grand Army of the Republic history. suvcw.org/iowa/iowa.htm, Department of Iowa, SovCo, contains list of elected officers, contacts, camp information, bulletin board, and bylaws. nhsuv.iwarp.com/departmentnh.htm, Department of New Hampshire, SovCo, officer directory, camp list, and membership information. ohiosuv.com/default.htm, Department of Ohio, SovCo, Department Officers, Past Commanders, Camp Information, Graves Registration, Sons of Veterans Reserve Information and Ohio Civil War Attractions. pauvcw.org, Department of Pennsylvania, SovCo, contains veteran information, officers and committees, orders and proceedings, active camps, events, and newsletter. rootsweb.ancestry.com/tilden/suvcw/index.htm, Department of Nebraska, SovCo, includes officers, camps, GAR. suvcw-wi.org, Department of Wisconsin, SovCo, information on the SovCo, individual camps in Wisconsin and Minnesota, department officers, news and events in the SovCo Auxiliary. suvcw.org/departmentlg.htm, Department at Large, SovCo, contains Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Oregon and Washington camp at large information and contacts. suvcw.org/ny/department-new-york.htm, Department of New York, SovCo, officers and contact information, camps, membership information, monuments and memorials, newsletter, department, and GAR. suvcw.me.org, Department of Michigan, SovCo, chartered in 1884. This contains information on camps, events, projects, ceremonies, and rituals and newsletter. suvcwmo.org, Department of Missouri, SovCo, contains department information, officers, camps, programs, membership inquiries, and a calendar. suvmass.org, Department of Massachusetts, SovCo, contains history, officers, camps, membership information, medals, news, and links. txsuv.org, Department of Texas, SovCo, includes Texas camps, events album, membership information, newsletter, department officers, Civil War links and contact information.